Yeah.
Yeah, for easy replication, I would even say.
Document.
Yeah. Thank you.
Okay. 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 No more addition?
Here to the middle.
Let's go.
Can we go back to item number 1 before we go to letter H, please? In addition to adult training programs, can we add integration of this subject to the curriculum in the primary and secondary levels? For the children, because this is it's the children who are most vulnerable to disaster risk. And at early age, they should be educated and trained on how to cope with disasters.
You want a personal opinion?
Yes.
Our
We
teachers.
can implement education at primary, secondary, and other levels of education.
Yes, maybe. We have done that in the Philippines in the area of land reform. We have integrated that in the primary and the secondary levels.
But that's not in the Bali Plan of Action. That's the problem.
Well, the Bali Plan of Action has
Yeah.
some children.
It has children, but not the land reform.
No, not the land
no, I
reform.
mean, she's just giving that as an example.
But I think,
Okay.
I'm sorry, it does include a part on education on children, so it will be important if we can put an extra point after one that talks
maybe.
about, so probably you can give us some text specifically on the importance of including it in the educational curriculum
Yeah.
in schools
That-
and high
yeah.
schools, something
They're
on those
asking you to
lines.
compose
Yes.
it. Yeah.
Or other than the formal education programs, maybe we
Sister,
can also design.
Sit down, compose the statement, and give it to them.
Okay.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Can I make a quick suggestion on that? I'm sorry.
Yes, yes.
If someone can pass this on to her, I think she started the
Hello.
statement.
Can you listen? Hello, sister. Can you just listen first to the other
But
comment?
I'm just
before you-
wondering if, just to keep it as concise as possible, G1 does mention targeting women and men equally. Maybe you could just add with particular emphasis on children, or get it in there somewhere. That I would recommend
Okay.
that.
Okay. H. I'm closing.
Okay.
G. H. Any comment on sex disaggregated
We already
data?
said gender disaggregated data. We changed that. Gender disaggregated data.
What is gender disaggregated data?
It's sex disaggregated
It's always
data.
sex disaggregated data.
Yeah, but
there
there
is
was
gendered statistics. I've heard that terminology, but there's not.
There is data disaggregated by gender. That's also said sometimes. If sex is a problem for some of the participants, then we should say data disaggregated by gender.
No. Sex is male, female. Gender is masculinity, femininity. We cannot have gender, sex. But what we could do is statistics of male and female if you don't want the word sex.
Why do we want sex?
How do we do that if we want to remove sex? Goodness sake. Where's the microphone, please?
I have it
Brothers?
here. I'd rather we call it gender statistics. If we are looking at sex disaggregated data, we are looking at data that is disaggregated by male and female gender. Gender statistics is more than just male and female. Information about men and women, boys and girls. Gender statistics talks about the geographical coverage, the income distribution, all different variables that we can talk about. So I'm comfortable with gender statistics than sex disaggregated data.
We're talking technical here, ladies, whether sex or gendered.
There was an idea up here to say gender-specific statistics must be pursued. Gender-specific statistics
Must be.
must be pursued by governments, etc.
No.
Oh yeah, must be collected.
Collected is the word.
I'm sorry, I'm in the wrong line. Yeah, must be collected in every sector and made available by governments, etc. So gender-specific statistics.
Does that settle things? So we can move on?
No, I think we have to stick to the sex disaggregation. When we do household surveys, it's male and female.
Yes.
No, when we do the difference and economic data, we differentiate by male and female workers and male workers, female business women and male businessmen. The gender dimension is much wider, and we want clear statistics. So we have to stick to it. It's a very well-established term, so we should not shy away from it or feel bad about it.
Okay. Is there any objection to keep it as it was? Is there any objection?
Pacific, are we responding to the question?
No, not objection to the sex word, but I have comments on the rest of the para.
No, okay, but we are just looking at this first phrase. Sex, has anybody an objection to keep it as it was?
It is used by practically all statistics office.
Then we leave it as it was.
Yes.
Is there an objection? Yes. No objections.
Okay.
Yeah, there is from Africa. Yeah,
okay,
Africa.
Pacific, what other...
Africa has an objection.
If we must use sex disaggregated, then we would like to add that it should be sex disaggregated and region-specific data must be collected. If we are to retain the sex disaggregated, then let's add region-specific data. If we are not using gender, then we should be sex disaggregated region-specific data.
I think I hear what you're saying, that you want to make sure that it's representing different regions. What we're asking in this case is that all governments that do statistical analysis, which would be regional as well as local, etc., you know, they do demographics, etc., from town level to state level, desegregate them by sex. Okay. So that would include implicitly region, if you don't mind, I think. Yes. Okay.
Thank you. Pacific.
Panelists on line 2, we felt that this question, this para, though very important, is too general. So we need to, in line 2, every sector in relation to climate change and disaster risk reduction. And if I, please, with your indulgence, go back to number 3 of G.
Wait, can we first...
Can you just finish your sentence, please?
Yes, after the word every sector in relation to climate change and disaster risk reduction. That's our topic.
Do you want to respond?
Oh, well, the reason we didn't make it specific to climate change and disaster risk reduction is because various sectors may not relate to climate change or disaster risk reduction, but we want all data.
You tell me a sector in the Pacific that is not affected by climate change.
Exactly. Well, that's the point, but at this time, they may not say that they are impacted by those. They don't recognize it, so we want to make sure that...
I've made my point. I'm not going to argue. The other point is the notion of requesting government. What about if the government don't have the capacity to do these things? So perhaps you consider it later to bring in the notion of assisting those governments that do not have the capacity to collect the sex disaggregated data.
Okay.
And
yes.